Jimin, it's you. Now go and kill yourself. Can you? What? His grip loosened on Jimin as he was quite taken aback by Jimin's words. Jimin took the chance as he pushed Taeyang lightly and ran from there. Taeyang looked at Jimin's disappearing figure as he processed whatever Jimin just spoke. Taeyang, did he just said me? I mean, was it me all the time? Taeyang blushed as he looked down, hiding his face with one hand and keeping other under the other hand. He licked his lips as he again looked up. Oh, I should have understood this earlier. How could I not? How could I not notice him? Well, we can't escape anymore, but Jimin. Oh, sorry, Kim Jimin. He said, and he was about to go out when he heard the bell ring. Oh, has it already been 1 hour? Wow, nice. Guess what? I have to go to next class now. Well, it's with him, so it would be fun. He said, smiling again, and went back inside, taking his books, leaving for the next class. With Jimin, he ran as fast as he couldn't process whatever he just said. He was totally confused and taken aback by his own words. Like, did he just confess? Oh no. He was totally confused and didn't know how to face Thiang anymore. Jimin. Why, I shouldn't have done that. How could I just confess him? Well, it wasn't even confession. I just told him that he was my first love. What am I going to do? Felix saw Jimin running towards the locker as he went towards the locker too. Felix, hey, Jimina, where were you the last class? Jimin, what should I do? I was in Professor Tang's office. Felix, what? For the whole period? I mean, were you there for the whole class? What were you doing? Jimin, he just heard our conversation and he kept asking me who it was. Felix, so did you tell him? Jimin, I did, but I didn't want to tell it. My jealousy took over me. That Mrs. Choi just ruined everything. Felix, amazing. Don't worry about it. He already loves you a lot. Jimin, but my confession wasn't supposed to be like this. Felix, well, that's true though. But you can't just do anything about whatever have happened right before. So let's just forget about it. We have class. Let's go. Or you may want to miss this class too. Jimin, of course not. I'm going to do this class. And yes, give me the notes of last class. Got it? Felix, alright, I will. Let's go. Jimin, yeah. He said, taking out books from his locker. Felix, yeah, it's not science class. Jimin, wait, which class is it then? It is maths. Oh no, Felix. Whoa, what happened now? Oh yeah, right. It's math class and it is going to be Mr. Kim's class, isn't it? Jimin, I am dead. Felix, of course not. You are not dead yet. Let's go and see what is going to happen. Jimin, I don't want to. I'll skip this class too. Felix, but you just said you don't want to skip this class. Let's just go. Jimin, no, I don't want to. Felix, come on, Alex. We are going to be late. He said, dragging Jimin towards the class. Both of them went and sat on the first bench again. Although Jimin protested a lot not to sit in the first bench, but Felix wouldn't get back. Soon Hyung entered inside the class, and as soon as he did, he noticed Jimin. His eyes were stuck on Jimin as he remembered what Jimin just said a bit ago. He smiled before going towards the desk. Jimin kept avoiding his eyes the whole class. Soon the class ended and Jimin hurried outside, not willing to face Thiang, at least not now. Thiang smiled, looking at Jimin as Jimin ran outside. Thiang, you have to face me soon, baby, he said to himself before leaving the class. He was going towards his cabin when Mrs. Choi stopped him. Thiang, oh yeah, what happened? Mrs. Choi held his hand, taking him towards the window of the corridor, and later Theang took away his hand because he was uncomfortable. Mrs. Choi, I wanted to ask you something. Theang, what is it? He said as his eyes fell on his cabin. Jimin was going outside of the cabin. Theang, yeah, was he in my cabin? I was going to meet him soon. Aish, why does this Mrs. Choi comes every time whenever something good is going to happen? Well, I am thankful too. Since because of her, he said whatever was in his mind. He said to himself before smiling, Mrs. Choi, what happened? Sam, oh, it's nothing. I shall go. I have something to do. He said, running towards his cabin. He opened the door before Mrs. Choi could stop him. Theang, he must be here to take the car keys. He thought to himself before going towards his desk and keeping the books. He noticed a paper with the car keys on it. He took it and opened it. The paper was from Jimin. It said, I won't be going with you in the car today, so you can go home by yourself. I'll be going with Felix by the subway. Theon, what? Aish, I thought I'd be going with you. You can't just leave by yourself. Fine, if you're going by subway, then I will also go with you. He said as he rushed outside, taking his car keys. But Mrs. Choi again stopped him. He was waiting outside his office. Mrs. Choi, I really have something important to tell you. Can you please just listen me out for 1 minute? Thiang, I have to go, please. Can we talk later, please? I have something important to do. Mrs. Choi, but it won't take long, really. Thiang, please, I just can't. Mr. Okay, I'll just tell it. Actually, I like you. Think, okay, I'll be going then. He said as he ran, but stopped when he realized what he just heard. He turned around as he noticed Mrs. Choi was confused by his behavior. Think, you like me? He asked out of total confusion. Mrs. Choi, yes. Think, I guess I should have told you, but it's actually Mrs. Choi, I just don't want to hear the answer this soon. You can take your time. Theang, but you need to know I'm married. So you should better remove your feelings for me. Thank you for liking me. He ran outside as he didn't even care what Mrs. Choi said after that. He took his car as he went to the subway. He parked his car outside and went inside the subway station but didn't find Jimin anywhere. The train had already left. If he wasn't late by 2 minutes, he would have able to catch the metro with Jimin. Aish, why does all the problems come whenever I am going to meet him? He said as he went outside again, taking his car and rushing to the subway station where Jimin was going to got off. Waited outside the subway station for about 5 minutes when Jimin came out with Felix. Jimin didn't notice Theon, so he was talking with Felix and walking ahead. Theon ran to Jimin as he stood in front of them. Felix, professor? He said, questioning him, and looked towards Jimin. Jimin, Professor Kim, what are you doing here? I guess Felix already knows about me, so you better not put an act in front of me. He said to Jimin as Jimin looked down, not willing to face Thiang, not anymore at least. Thiang, Felix, can you give us some time? You can hang out with your friend some other day. Right now, I need to talk to him. Felix, oh, sure, have fun. He said as he was about to leave, and Jimin held his hand. Jimin, yeah, where are you going? You were supposed to hang out with me, isn't it? Felix, I'm sorry, I'm nothing in front of your husband. I need to go. Bye. he said, running away from there before getting held by Jimin again. He turned around and winked at Jimin. Jimin just looked down away. Taeyang held Jimin's waist as he pulled him closer. Taeyang, so where are you going to run now? And I thought you only told that I was your first love. Did you tell that I was your husband too? Jimin, uh, I, I, he asked me, he was suspicious of us, so I just told it. Yeah, it's nice. At least I don't have to act in front of him. Jimin, we shall go home. He said, trying to push Taeyang and walking towards the parking lot. When Taeyang pulled him again, Taeyang, where are you going, darling? Jimin, aren't we going to house? Taeyang, and what about what you said in the office? How will you explain that? Jimin, what did I did? I didn't say anything. Yeah, oh really? So you don't remember anything? David, I don't. Yeah, fine, I will remind you then. He said as he got close and leaned towards his ears before he whispered, yeah, am I really your first love? And did you waited for me your almost half of your life? His deep and husky voice sent shivers down Jimin's pain. Jimin, no, it's not like that. He said, pushing Taeyang away. Taeyang, then what is it like? Jimin, it's nothing. He said, finally pushing Taeyang and running towards the car. Taeyang, how long are you going to run away from me? You can't run away for long, don't you know that? He said, also walking towards the car. He got inside the car as he noticed Jimin wasn't yet doing eye contact with him. Thank you know, Mrs. Choi. He took a glance before saying further. Jimin seemed like he was curious to know what was Taeyang about to say, but he yet didn't look at Taeyang. She proposed me today. He said she likes me. Jimin, what? Taeyang, why are you so much angry? Are you jealous again? Jimin, of course yes, I am. He said, looking away again from Taeyang. Taeyang just smiled as he spoke again. Taeyang, come on, you need to accept it already. Or are you waiting for someone else to take me? Jimin, no one can take you. Then if I didn't stop, you won't be going with anyone else. Taeyang, and how can you say that? Jimin, since you love me. Taeyang, am I may change my mind? Jimin, you won't be able to. And if you were going to, then you would have done a long ago when you first met me. Taeyang, that doesn't mean I won't change my mind right now. Jimin, so go ahead, change your mind if you can. Taeyang, and if I did then? Jimin, go ahead. Let me see. Taeyang, you are too confident, aren't you? Jimin, yes I am. What are you gonna do? This time Jimin finally looked towards Taeyang. Taeyang, alright, then I will do. Jimin, fine, go ahead. He said as Taeyang took out his phone and started dialing a number. The phone started to ring, but Jimin didn't stop him. Hung up the call before she could pick up and threw it on the back seat. Jimin, what happened? Why didn't you did? Why did you hang up? Taeyang, yes, I can't do. You won't get back until you make me say this, isn't it? Jimin, of course I won't. Taeyang, shh. You haven't changed even a bit. Just as stubborn as before. Jimin, yes, I haven't changed. Taeyang, then at least accept it that you love me. Jimin, I already did. Taeyang, what? When? Jimin, you keep asking me again and again. Do you want me to tell it again and again? But I can't. That's embarrassing for me. He said, looking away again as he blushed. Taeyang chuckled as he looked at Jimin's blushing face. Taeyang, come on, just one more time. You could have said that properly, isn't it? Even though you accepted that you love me, but you didn't told me, did you? I don't remember you telling me. Jimin, I won't. By the way, where are we going? He said as he noticed that the way wasn't to their house. Taeyang, somewhere. Somewhere nice. Jimin, what do you mean? You said I have to study, isn't it? But it is really a nice day and a good day for me. Finally, I came to know that you are my first and I am yours too. So I should celebrate it, isn't it? Jimin, did you really wait it for me? I didn't believe it. Taeyang, oh really? You don't believe me? Jimin, I... Taeyang, well, if I didn't love you and didn't wait it for you, I wouldn't have came back here. Neither I would have joined your university, neither I would have married you. Any other question? You should believe me now. Jimin, I already do that. He whispered to himself, but Taeyang managed to hear it. He smiled again. Taeyang, I knew you believed Jimin. Whatever. Taeyang, well, I'm still waiting for our first kiss after wedding. He said, trying to sound sad. Jimin, what? Taeyang, did you forget that I was waiting for your permission? Jimin, you already took my first kiss. Taeyang, I know I did, but not after marriage. Isn't that kiss more precious? Jimin, it is. He said, trying not to smile. Taeyang, come on. You should smile. Don't hide that precious smile. And stop acting like that in front of me. Since I know you aren't like that. At least not a cold boy. So better stop acting like that in front of me. Jimin, whatever. Well, was that your first kiss too? He asked. His voice was barely above a whisper, but Taeyang could hear it. Taeyang, what did you say? I couldn't hear you. He said teasingly. Jimin, I mean, you are so handsome. I don't think I was your first kiss. Taeyang, what did you say? I am handsome? He said, smiling and looking at Jimin like a excited kid. Jimin, I mean, well, just say. And of course, you know you are handsome. Taeyang, of course I am handsome. You know it was pretty hard. So I guess, Jimin, so I wasn't your first kiss. Taeyang, that. Jimin, enough. I don't want to hear. He said, looking outside, not willing to talk because he was jealous. Taeyang, you should listen it. If you didn't, who will? And you were the one who asked me. Then why aren't you listening? Jimin, I just don't want to. Taeyang, come on, you have to. Well, it was pretty hard, but since you have saved that for me, even after being so popular and this handsome and cute, how could I not save? Jimin's eyes lit up as he heard that. As he turned towards Taeyang with a smile, but he looked away when Taeyang looked at him. Taeyang noticed his eyes and his smile as he murmured cute. He took Jimin's hand and held them, keeping his hand on Jimin's thigh. Jimin, what are you doing? Taeyang, can I not hold my husband's hand too? He said as he made innocent eyes and a small pout. Jimin couldn't control as he chuckled and looked outside again. Jimin, of course, he said, still smiling. Taeyang also smiled, seeing him as he also turned around and kept driving. Soon they reached the destination. Jimin, oh, finally we are here. I thought we are going to drive the whole night. Taeyang, of course, if you want to. Jimin, nah, I don't want to. He said, getting off the car, but Taeyang pulled him inside. Jimin, what happened now? Taeyang, wait, my prince. He said as he took off his seatbelt and went outside the car. He came towards Jimin's side and opened the door for him and bowed a little, extending his hand. Taeyang, please come out. Jimin, sure. He smiled as he held Taeyang's hand and Taeyang led him outside, locking his car. Both of them went inside the big building. Jimin, where are we? Taeyang, in ice skating building. Jimin, what are we doing here? Taeyang, we are here to play and enjoy. Of course, why else would be we here? Jimin, but you don't know how to do ice skate, isn't it? Taeyang, who said? Jimin, I know it. You also couldn't do when we were young. Taeyang, so you remember it? Jimin, of course I do. Taeyang, then you can teach your beer, isn't it? Just like before. Jimin, I never taught you. Taeyang, of course you didn't. But you are good at it, isn't it? Jimin, yes, I am. Taeyang, then won't you teach me? Jimin, sure, he said as he ran towards the lockers taking out some skaters. Taeyang smiled as he saw Jimin happy. He had always loved it. Although Jimin tried many times to hide that smile, but of course he was never able to do it. Taeyang would always catch it whenever Jimin smiled. Jimin kept teaching Taeyang as Taeyang kept making mistakes purposely in order to be with Jimin and not leave his hand. Jimin, wow, it's so amazing, right? I'm teaching my own professor. Taeyang, but right now I'm your husband, not your professor. Jimin, still you are. Taeyang, yeah, only for this semester. Jimin, yeah, he said as he dragged Taeyang again, causing Taeyang to hold on Jimin's hand even tighter. Taeyang lost his control as he hugged Jimin, not willing to fall down. Jimin held him so that he won't fall down. After some time, Taeyang parted away as he looked in Jimin's eyes. Their faces were close. Taeyang leaned towards Jimin's face, but Jimin went towards his ears and whispered, Jimin, I love you. It caught Taeyang off guard. He was in utter shock when Jimin pecked his cheeks